everybody. Happy End of the World's Day Eve. I'm Peyton Lewis, and it's crazy to think that this is the last episode of Common Agenda before we definitively know who our next president is. That means that on our next episode, I'll be either over the moon knowing that we just elected our first female president, or there will be a brand new host of Common Agenda, because I have dual American-Canadian citizenship, baby! Ha ha! Hasta la vista, baby! But seriously, please don't elect Trump. I'm one unexcused absence away from failing plants and people for the second time, and I don't think moving to Canada counts as an excused absence. This week we said goodbye to a dear friend, someone that was with us through thick and thin, someone that, sure, was a little noisy at times, but was dependable, someone who stood by our side. Goodbye, Ukraine Bolt. You will be sorely missed. Now, when Ukraine Bolt first came into our lives, I'll admit we were all upset. We were afraid that it was going to be loud or that it would start construction work well before any college student is awake, or that strange men would suddenly appear in our window. It turned out that all of that did happen, but that didn't stop our budding friendship. We would gaze out the window onto your massive frame and dream of climbing up your ladder. We wanted to see where it went. You represented freedom and danger for the residents of Piano Row. And we had to hear your screams as a new, younger, smaller crane took you down and sent you who knows where. But you will not be forgotten, friend. Now, it's getting close to Thanksgiving break, which means we are at our 2-month slump. Obviously, the best way to cheer yourself up is by reading the weekly crime log. Am I right, ladies? From public harassments to marijuana confiscations to the contractors accidentally setting off the fire alarm, there's some quality content in there. It's kind of like that 2-minute part of the commercial where they list off all of the horrible things that might happen to you if you actually buy the product. I mean, I hope your parents aren't questioning their decision to let their baby off into the big city, because now they can read this public webpage to see all of the hard-hitting crime that's happening in your area. But we all know the real crime that impacts us each and every day is the DH. And Paramount, you've done it again. I mean, as if it wasn't enough that you have to make us poor and innocent college students go out of our way to walk a whole extra block to get to you. Now you've just lost it. I mean, littering on the Opera House? Really? Is this what it's come to? I'm not mad, guys. I'm just disappointed. I know you want attention because you're all the way over on Washington Street and all the popular buildings are on Boylston, but get a grip, woman. This is not the way to do it. Glass bottles, paper, food. Now you're even smoking cigarettes. You burned 2 holes in the Opera House's roof. Wow, guys, just wow. I mean, I know we're all privileged and spoiled middle-class millennials, but I thought we were at least ego-friendly. I guess not, but you know, it's fine, you know, we're artists, so we don't have to care about the world or anything. Yeah, let's be cool. Let's throw trash out our windows. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but just because the trash can in your room is full and you're too lazy to walk 20 feet to the trash room, that doesn't mean the next place you go is the window. We aren't in space, gravity does exist, and it's going to fall on something. But you made a choice, and a bold one at that, and now you have to live with the consequences. What? What's that? They're not even planning on searching for the litterers? Well, crap. At least the journalism department is picking up the slack, or at least picking up the website Slack for better communication between teachers and students. Now, according to Slack's website, it's described as team communication for the 21st century. I'm pretty sure that's what texting and email is for, you know, communicating in the 21st century. Slack just reminds me of an updated version of AOL Messenger, if any of you actually know what that is. Basically, think of it as texting on an old computer that was outdated and older than the food in your dorm room fridge. But professors are swearing by it, saying that it's better than frequently bombarding our emails, though many students seem not to care. And why should they? I mean, come on, Emerson. You practically make us check Canvas 40 million times a day. Why should we have to look for another notification system? The only notification I want to see is from the mailroom about my care package full of mac and cheese and assorted chips. For now, freshman journalism students have to forge through the pilot program until everyone gets to suffer with you next semester. Be strong, young journalists. All right, we have pandered long enough, catching you up on campus news. Now is the time for the main event. The election, November 8th, tomorrow. The day we make a huge step in either progress or oppression. We'll either have our first female president or our first former reality TV star as president. Now, for most of us here at Emerson College, this is the first presidential election we are able to vote in. And we were expecting a compelling election where we got to weigh the candidates on their policies and their experience, but nothing could have prepared us for this 2-year train wreck. At first, it was funny that Donald Trump was running, the kind of thing America might look back on with nostalgia. Hey, remember that time that Donald, that orange apprentice, that disgusting but successful businessman ran for president? But then it stopped being funny because Trump actually got the Republican nomination. And now there's a very real possibility that he might be our next president. But regardless of where you stand politically, get out and vote tomorrow. And remember that we all have a common agenda Tuesday night, no matter the outcome of the election. Either celebration for electing Hillary or drowning our sorrows of a Trump term at the TAM. Only for those 21 plus, of course. Now, in the meantime, before the aftermath of tomorrow's election, while both the Democrats and Republicans are still somewhat happy, let's learn a little bit more about this election. So here's tossing it over to Jackie DeFusco with our Off the Ballot to take a more in-depth look at tomorrow's election that's totally not biased.
Tonight on the liberal media, what's the deal with Anthony's wiener? And the campaign just got a little more nasty, if that's possible. We'll be right back after this.
And we have to make sure that this election is not stolen from us and is not taken away from us.
And this crooked media, you talk about crooked Hillary, they're worse than she is.
Us.
Why do you guys constantly lie to us?
I don't think we constantly lie to you.
Why are you working for Clintons? You are.
Okay.
You can only mislead, distract, and lie to the American people for so long.
Without the media, Hillary Clinton couldn't be elected dog catcher. I mean that.
You guys are liars, you are biased, and we're not dealing with it no longer.
Welcome back to the liberal media. Tonight, we start with some breaking news. Polls show Hillary Clinton skyrocketing among millennials. Apparently, she finally figured out what Bernie Sanders knew all along. The more free stuff, the more votes. And discounted crop tops, forget about it. That's right. The American retail company Nasty Gal began offering an extra 40% off for all nasty women after this moment in the third presidential debate.
Is to replenish the Social
Such a nasty
Security Trust Fund by making.
Show your support for gay marriage by buying a Nasty Woman pantsuit in every color. You don't want to miss this trend, and neither does Hillary Clinton. In other news, Trump gives ladies a break and takes advantage of something else, the label deplorable.
You know, to just be grossly generalistic, you could put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
Trump's running mate Mike Pence says that Clinton calling half of their supporters irredeemable is completely ridiculous. It's more like 2/5, according to our liberal media poll. Clinton admits in the aftermath that she probably got the math wrong. Women, right? But hey, Trump supporters don't seem to be too offended by the label deplorable, as long as they are saying it themselves. Similarly to how SpongeBob came to terms with being ugly.
Ugly and I'm proud.
Loser!
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
Loser!
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
Next, supporters of ballot question 4 in Massachusetts gathered to rally for the legalization of recreational marijuana. Many pot proponents agree that it was, quote, low for Gary Johnson to say he wouldn't smoke pot if elected president. They agree that the Obamas are way more, quote, chill.
When they go low, we go high.
Everyone in America gets a free taco at Taco Bell tomorrow.
The rally was cut short when most of the supporters fell asleep. The campaign trail is really heating up this week. Anthony Weiner screwed the Clinton campaign worse than that unsuspecting 15-year-old girl. Trump is calling this a motherlode after an FBI investigation of Weiner's personal devices led the agency to uncover a new batch of Clinton's emails. According to our liberal media correspondent, these emails are basically irrelevant and are unlikely to affect the outcome of the campaign. Oh, would you look at that? We're out of time. Up next is a 45-minute panel discussion on Trump's sexual scandals. For the liberal media, I'm Jackie DeFusco.
Wow, our debates are on fire. Ah! Oh no, why did I say that? Oh no, I'm on fire still, it is so hot. Why have I done this? Oh no, I'm still on fire, but one speechless on the Emerson channel. It's really good and full of action.
Hey everyone, I'm your political satire correspondent, Jackie DeFusco, here in studio to talk about the upcoming election. While we are hoping to make history tomorrow and elect our first female president, we did sit down this week to think about the alternative. What would happen if Donald Trump was elected president of the United States? Sure, we know things would certainly change for women, people of color, the LGBT community, and pretty much everyone who isn't a wealthy, straight, able-bodied, cisgendered male. But we decided to analyze how a Trump presidency would affect Emerson College as a microcosm of hipsters and media makers. Here are the results with the top 5 ways a Trump presidency would affect Emerson College. 5, higher interest in the study abroad program. This might seem obvious, but if Trump is elected president, we are pretty confident in assuming that interest in the study abroad program will go up as the very liberal Emerson student body tries to flee a Trump term. The competition to get off the wait list will be cutthroat, and people will be bribing Lee Pelton with the promise to name their firstborn child after him in order for their shot of living in a Trump-free country for the semester. Your friend Kevin is at Castlewell Study Abroad program this semester. You've been seeing posts of his first legal beer on Instagram and Skyping him occasionally when he's not gallivanting around Europe. However, lately he has sort of fallen off the radar. His social media persistence has slowly dwindled, and he's fallen silent in the group Facebook chat. You're starting to think that maybe Kevin is going to stay in the Netherlands indefinitely. Flash forward 3 months later, and he's made a life for himself in Germany, teaching English to senior citizens. 4, the new dorm room building is named Trump Towers. We know Emerson College is a personal favorite of Donald Trump. He even said it. Emerson College, very important, great college. It's a title that Emerson College never asked for and probably one we'd rather forget. However, Donald Trump has branded us a very important school, and with that kind of endorsement from the president, we might be a little peer pressured into naming the new dorm room building after him. I mean, maybe it would be kind of cool to tell your friends at home that you're living in Trump Towers. At first, they'd be impressed, thinking, Trump Towers in New York? but then underwhelm when you say, no, not that Trump Towers. It's actually just a dorm room. It does seem fitting, though, that a college where the majority of students have a math aversion to have a building named after a businessman that has filed for bankruptcy 4+ times. 3, he would get rid of any and all news media. You know, Trump has always said that the media is out to get him from day one. He said it. I mean, maybe we'd be a little less harsh if, he was even a slightly decent human being, but he will not be giving us a chance to redeem ourselves. So that #1 journalism program in the country, it's got to go. Au revoir, Berkeley Beacon, sayonara, EIV News. Toodaloo, Common Agenda, breaking news, and closing time. When Trump's in office, his Twitter account will update us on all the important newsworthy topics, like how's Hillary holding up in prison, or the construction of that wall. The real news. None of those lies that the media is always telling. So good luck getting that journalism degree without any reporting. 2, civil war. Yes, we're not kidding. Regardless of whether or not Trump is elected, there is a very, very high chance that this election might be the first violent transition of power in American history. Oh, what a hoot! Soon, brother will be turning against brother, sister will be turning against sister, and Emersonian will be turning against Emersonian. Well, maybe not that, because everybody basically agrees with each other politically here, but those 5 kids who support Trump will definitely turn against us. The point is, if that orange demagogue gets his tiny little hands on the country, things are gonna get pretty crazy in the streets, which brings us to our #1 point. Nuclear apocalypse. Little Donnie has been waiting his entire life to get his teensy little hands on the nuclear launch codes. And the minute the Honorable Reverend Scott Baio swears him as president, he's gonna get them. And you best believe that he's going to use them. He's told us several times that he wants to. All this time, your rationale for either voting for Trump or not voting at all is that their policies won't affect you. First of all, not true. But second of all, a nuclear blast will definitely affect you. Seriously, if there's any reason you should go out of your way to make sure that Donald Trump doesn't become president, it should be to stop him from getting even close to the nuclear launch button. If you're thinking that we're exaggerating about Trump's tendency to make a brash, impulsive attack for no reason, just look at his Twitter feed and tell me that that man wouldn't launch a nuke at someone. Well, since we've probably scared you senseless with all this election talk, let's take a step back and remember, there's still a reason to laugh. Join our Street Beat team as they ask people around Emerson some of their deepest, darkest secrets. The world may be ending tomorrow, so watch your classmates and random strangers confess their hidden secrets.
This presidential election is the only topic in the news lately. So today on Man on the Street, we're gonna get away from this madness and I'm gonna ask some people some fun questions. What is the weirdest name you've ever encountered?
Weirdest name? Jadine.
Wednesday?
Annabelle, probably.
Kamaya.
What is the last lie you told?
Probably, I'm fine.
That's deep.
I don't know, probably saying that I was busy when I wasn't because someone was like bothering me. I don't know. Probably just that I like some person's shoes. I went on Regina George on someone.
What is your least favorite and favorite word?
My favorite word is absurd. My least favorite word is gushy.
Good and bad?
My least favorite word is hate, and my favorite word is love.
Favorite word, ubiquitous. Least favorite word, pudding.
Why pudding?
Just doesn't sound hot.
My least favorite would probably be moist. And my most favorite would probably be bro.
What celebrity do you think you most resemble or most look like?
Rob Kardashian.
Explain.
Some people told me that.
Pete Davidson.
Why?
I just been told that by 5 people this year, so I was like, I'll roll with it.
All right.
Obviously, Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah.
Someone told me last night Winona Ryder, but I'd like to think anywhere pre-Stranger Things. Not that I didn't enjoy the acting, but I like to think that's not the same look. I've gotten like Lana Glazer from Broad City a lot.
SpongeBob.
Why so?
'Cause I'm short and I look a little square.
I feel you, I'm the same. What is the funniest excuse you've used to get out of class?
It's Sukkot, and that's like not like a big holiday. It's a Jewish holiday, but like I used it just so I didn't have to go to class, and I have no idea what it is.
Such a rebel.
Oh yeah, one day my computer is broken, but that course is kind of workshop. I can do anything, so I pretend I'm sick.
I'm too tired.
I have never gotten out of class.
Just that I overslept because I had been sick the night before, whereas I actually just overslept because I'm lazy. I had a court date.
Have you ever been pulled over by a cop?
Yeah, but my headlight was out, so really nothing exciting. So apparently in North Carolina, it's a crime to drive over 15 miles an hour over the speed limit. So don't go 22 miles an hour over the speed limit in North Carolina, because they will pull you over and they will give you a court date. They won't give you a ticket because, you know, you broke the law. And then if you don't go to your court date, they'll get you arrested.
Welcome back to Common Agenda. You know, throughout this entire damn election season, there's been one constant beacon of sanity: polls and statistics. I mean, let's be real here. Who doesn't check 538 like 87 times an hour? To be honest, I probably check it more often than that. But one of the most accurate pollsters this season has actually been our very own Emerson College Polling Society, which usually knocks it out of the park when it comes to correctly predicting who's going to win those elections and things like that. So here to give us a lowdown on what's happening this Tuesday is Chris Kane, the co-president of Emerson College Polling Society. Thank you so much for being here. First of all, if you just want to give us a general overview of what ECPS does and what makes it so successful.
Great, we'd be happy to. We are a student organization. We are under the advisorship of Professor Spencer Kimball, who is a researcher in our particular methodology that we use, which is interactive voice response, more commonly known as robocalling. And this year, this entire year, starting with the Iowa caucuses, we have been polling the presidential race. We polled, I believe, 17 or 18. We conducted 17 or 18 polls during the primaries, and now we've been polling the general election almost exclusively in battleground states. And so we're watching the election, we're watching the presidential, and we're watching the Senate. Many of the states we're looking at have very close, tightly battling senatorial races, so we're looking at both of those things. And the data that we're collecting from all these polls is going to be pulled together, and we'll be doing an analysis of the methodology which we use, which is based on the methods of public policy polling, which has been was very successful in the 2012 election.
So I know that Emerson College Polling Society is one of the best collegiate polls in the nation when it comes to sort of accuracy, I guess, however accurate you might be able to get with presidential polling. What makes you guys tick?
Well, let me say a couple things. One is that if you probably know that polling has become a very challenging field. There's a lot of challenges and obstacles to accuracy. So I would say that we've had a lot of successes, but like most pollsters, nobody is consistently accurate. You go for it's like a good batting average.
Sure.
So especially in the primaries, we had a pretty good batting average that put us in league with top collegiate pollsters and with some of the national pollsters.
And when it comes to polling, it's usually about the trend lines anyway, right? It's not you can't look at one specific poll lots of the time, right?
Well, yes. I mean, a poll, any particular poll is a snapshot in time, and every pollster has their own methodology, and so your ability to be consistently accurate or more accurate than everybody else really has a lot to do with that methodology.
Sure.
And in the primaries, we got a lot of positive attention for a couple of particular polls that we were did much better than some of the other pollsters. One was we came very close to predicting the outcome of the Iowa caucuses.
Even that slim margin on the Democratic side?
Well, actually, no, we didn't come so close on the Democratic side, but we came very close on the Republican side.
Okay.
And I believe we were one of the top 2 in the country in terms of getting as close as possible to what actually happened.
That's awesome. That's coming out of the school.
Yeah.
Speaking of your results, can you talk about maybe what you've put forward today, your prediction for this election, both presidentially and Senate races?
Yes. Today, we published a series of 4 polls. We've been publishing polls in batches of 2, 3, or 4, all in battleground states. Some states we've polled multiple times, especially if they're close. If they're blowouts, we don't poll them anymore because we're feeling, they're red or they're going red or blue. Today we published Ohio, Nevada, I always have to stop thinking, New Hampshire, and who am I missing? That'll come up in a minute.
Well, we can see your results back here.
Okay,
so you have Clinton with 323.
Nevada,
that's what it is.
So those are all close, and they're interesting for different reasons. Ohio is really responded to Trump's message, and he has been doing fairly well there, although it's been tightening up, as our poll showed today. Nevada is interesting because it has a big Latino population. Clinton has done a really good job at registering, her campaign has done a good job at registering, especially the casino workers in Las Vegas, and who are very motivated by Trump's anti-immigrant positions. So that makes that an interesting race. Missouri, we've been looking at, it's fairly safe Republican in terms of that's going to go to Trump. However, there's a very close Senate race between Roy Blunt, who's the incumbent, and a young Democrat named Jason Kander, who is I don't know if he's a vet, but he served in Afghanistan. He was Secretary of State. He did one of the best commercials of the gun.
Right?
He's putting together the gun.
He put together a gun blindfolded, which I think really played to the Missouri electorate.
Yeah, and it's it's the military, it's the hunting thing, but he's a progressive, he's a Democrat, and I think that actually was one of the most memorable commercials so far
of this election season. I think so too.
So we're polling that because we're interested. Of course, the Democrats are hoping to flip 4 seats, which would allow them to gain a majority in the Senate.
Do you think they'll get that?
It's close. It's very close. They're definitely going to get Tammy Duckworth in Illinois.
In Illinois, yep.
She's going to be good. Russ Feingold in Wisconsin, he's doing well. The 2 that we're looking at, Catherine Cortez Masto in Nevada.
Yep.
Oh no, you know what? No, she's not a flip because that's Harry Reid's seat. So but they want to hold.
But against Joe Heck,
right? And they want to hold that seat because if they lose that seat to a Republican, then they have to make up another one.
Yeah.
So in New Hampshire, we're looking at New Hampshire because of Kelly Ayotte and Maggie Hassan, and we have shown Kelly Ayotte up. It was just about a week ago by 6 points. That has been cut down to 3 points.
So slim margins here,
slim
and
margins.
This can really affect the outcome of our nation the next years and years and years down the line when we're talking about Supreme Court justices.
Yeah,
and
and that's very crucial. And so in order to get the majority they would need to approve Clinton's nominees, they really need to flip those 4 seats, or it's very possible that we're going to see more obstructions, like what we have seen since Scalia's passed away and his seat has been left vacant.
Well, it's so nice to have you here. I really appreciate you coming on the program. But that is all the time that we have for this week's Common Agenda. Now join us next week for the first episode of the year where we either won't need to talk about the election or where you'll have a hot new host. Because as I said before, I'm going to move to Canada. This is not an empty threat. As you can see, I already have my bag packed. I started practicing my accent, eh? And I have a flight that departs from Boston Logan an hour after the election is called. So please just don't make me move to Canada. Please vote for the most qualified candidate in your opinion. And if that means voting for a third-party candidate, you can feel hipster, but you might actually affect the outcome of the election. Please just be smart and try and have a great night, everyone. I'll maybe see you next time.